And that goes for any. That goes for any entertainer,
all
basketball, movie actor, anything.
That's what I tell you.
If you are too high and mighty to say what's up to your fans, somebody that supports you, you ain't shit.
Yeah,
you ain't
Mike,
shit.
How about
you ain't shit.
What Pistol Pete said?
Which one? Which one?
Pistol Pete. That's on the internet.
Yeah.
He said that he threw his flag, he put it on he was in Coxsackie. He threw his flag in the yard, and he shut the yard down. That's what he said.
Okay.
What about that?
What you think about that?
I was in Coxsackie. I don't know if he was there with me. Yeah, I was there. I was there, none of that was going down. And I was there with them dudes.
What year was you there?
I was there 84, 85.
84, 85, and you didn't see... Have you ever came across that Spanish Pistol Pete? Because there's different Pistol Petes.
I know
there's a brown skin one, there's a Spanish one.
I know of. I don't know him personally.
Right.
I met him through my brother. The original Pistol Pete from Cozy Corners.
That's the original
Pistol Pete.
Yeah.
But that's not... Wait. See, that's what I'm saying. When you say from Soundview, people going to think the Sex Money.
Him.
Sex Money Pistol
Pete. None of that.
You talking about before Sex Money?
This is way before.
Before Sex Money, you saying there was a Pistol Pete in Soundview? Okay.
He was Cozy Corner.
Okay.
It was just cozy.
Yeah, cozy.
And it was him. That was Pistol Pete. That was the original Pistol Pete.
Okay.
He was Dolo. There wasn't no. He knew. He had people down with him, though. But it wasn't no. At that time, you went by names.
Right.
It was names like you on your lonely. That's how a lot of dudes back then got known, on they lonely. That's probably why I'm like that about check-ins and all, because on our lonely we did this.
Because we did a
so
lot
bringing
of
shit. Bringing it up to date. You said you sort of split the other Pistol Pete. I don't know where he's from, but you say the one with Terror Squad.
Okay, I never met him.
You never met that one.
No.
But what did he say now? He said he threw his flag.
Something happened, and this is when shit go wrong. He said something happened, and he told, I guess the dude that was down with him that was black, he told him to lock in. He went out to the yard, threw his Puerto Rican flag down, and he said that he shut it down. I'm saying, I don't know if that's true or not, because it didn't have to be the time I was there. I never heard about it. I've been through the system until I was 50.
Right.
I've been through the system. Ain't like I just came from stop being in the system. I've been through the system until I was 50 years old. This is the first time I even heard about something like that. Not saying that, listen, I'm just saying something, take a look at it. I ain't saying it didn't happen. But I don't think it happened on our watch when we was there. Because I know when we was there, and I was there with Homo, and I could keep going. Bogart, Chocolate Chip, Head Mo. Listen, I could keep Pep. I could keep going and Chocolate. All of us was there. We was in there. Blue Boy. All of us was there at this time. And I don't want to even name the rest of them because it was a hell of a lot of us. Azar. All of us was there. Not the Azar from the Bronx. Azar from Queens, that part with Supreme Team and all that. All of us was there at the time. You know what I mean? Ty from Soundview.
Ty
Boogie. Okay, where you from?
From Soundview Project.
Ty?
Yeah.
He was there with us. All of us was there. There was no riot. We built Green. That facility Green that's next to it, that everybody talk about now.
Okay.
We built that. At that time, it was no green there. We built that. So maybe that happened later, but I never heard about it. I'm just saying, I'm not denouncing what
you never came across him on Rikers Island or nothing like that?
If I did, I did a lot of box time, so a lot, I did, I'm in and out. That's why they called me Jack in the Box. I stayed in and out of the box. You know what I mean? And yeah, I did a lot of box time, so yeah, you lose your goddamn mind fucking with that box too. Don't be going through them boxes, man. The boxes, yeah, you think you ain't gonna come out the same way you went in. Believe me when I tell you, you know. But I never heard of it. Not saying it didn't happen. Maybe it happened when I wasn't there. I don't know. Yeah. But
back to the Knicks.
Yeah. But no, you know
they're
why?
Gonna do
but
it.
They speaking on that a lot.
They gonna. Well, yeah.
They speaking on that a lot. And that's
because
starting up
that
some shit. That's
right,
what I mean.
Right.
Come on, man. You
Yeah.
ain't even have to mention that shit. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Even if it went down like that. Like.
But you know what? And I mean, I'm not trying to, say anybody's lying or anything. But once Fat Joe started, saying stuff that knew wasn't impossible, everything about him and his people is going to come off like, and
if y'all did do it, the Terror Squad, don't blame it on nobody but your man Joe. Like, because Joe's capping a lot, not saying he don't believe it. He may believe it. Yeah. But a lot of other people don't believe it. And that's making y'all
look bad.
Like,
it's simple. It's look bad.
You're right. You're
and
right.
So
I was coming back and forth through Rikers Island on some regulars all the way through the 80s. After I came home in 85, I went to work release. So if Pete was going through all that, he came kind of later. You know what I mean?
Yeah, where he said he got arrested, I think in 87, 88.
Yeah, I was home.
He was home.
My brother got killed in 87. So yeah, I was home. I had just came from work. I was in work release. I was like at the end of my time in work release when you did all that.
Okay.
I don't know that's his era. You know what I mean? I'm not going to denounce him.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't really know him, so I can't say. That's just like whatever I did was there. He couldn't denounce me because he wasn't there.
Right.
But from what I'm hearing, it's a lot of fabrication, a little more fabrication than what he was saying. And that's usually what happens with dudes like that. You know, sometimes you up the ante with certain things, you know what I mean? Like when I was coming back and forth on the island, he was in I didn't hear from him.
When was you coming back and forth on the island?
Well, after my brother died, I came back on the island in 88.
Oh, that's when he said he was the king of Rikers.
If you look me up on YouTube, King of New York, King of Rikers Island, pardon me, King of Rikers Island.
But he was in C. I was in C95.
Okay.
He was in C95 with me.
No.
Then I went to the 6th building.
Did you remember anything like hearing like, yo, some Spanish kid over there, King of Rikers?
Down in C95.
The 4 building.
I don't know what was going on in the 4 building.
You don't know.
But in C95, he was.
Matter of fact.
adolescents.
Yeah, that's the adolescent. But they had, even though they had adolescents there, right?
Please, yeah, they had that.
That's phase. Y'all know what it is. And even though they had adolescents, they used to put the adults, the adolescents, in the 4 building.
Right.
So maybe he was, because the last time I was there in 2014, 15, we was with the adolescents. We was in the 4 building, and they had the adolescents. So it could have been that. But I didn't come through with adolescents. I went through 6 building. 95,
5 building.
Yeah, because that's the drug building. That's all. But that's where all the Spanish dudes is at, in the drug building.
In the drug building?
On C95, that's the drug building, straight up. That's where everybody want to go to C9. Even though they talk about, yo, these things is dope things, whatever. Everybody want to go through C95. Anybody that know about Rikers Island, they'll tell you, everybody want to go through C95. C95 is the money building. That's where all the drugs is being at, all that. A lot of dudes that's on meth, a lot of dudes that's on dope, heroin, and all, they go through that building. That building is one of the, even though they won't want to say it, it's an official building. C95 always been an official building. A lot of drug dudes, a lot of dudes that get caught. You ain't even got to be on drugs. You might just get caught with packages and all that. Right. And have a drug beef. They send you through C95. You know what I mean? A lot of dudes be kicking, go through there and all that. And they go up north, they're detoxing, send you right back up, send you up north.
What's the earliest you've been to Rikers? Was you in the Rikers, going to Rikers back in the 1970s or no?
No, I went the first time I ever came on Rikers Island was the end of 82.
82.
Yeah, I went into it in 83.
Before that, you was in Spofford, right?
Yeah, before that, I did Spofford and all that. Yeah.
So when you got arrested,
I graduated quick.
When you got arrested in the 1970s, and that's the thing, like y'all, a lot of y'all, one of the problems is similar to hip hop. Y'all was doing this stuff back in the 1970s,
right.
bids and all that. A lot of dudes, they start in the 80s and 90s, and that's a problem too. I mean, not a problem, but I'm saying as far as
the knowledge of it.
Yeah. And,
yeah,
you know,
the
things that we conveying, right. Like your brother and them was doing biz back in the 1970s. Yeah. I saw that picture. Remember, did I show you that picture that said, back when the Bronx, something about every max in the state pen, something like that, and the Bronx controlled or Bronx had the state pens on smash, something like that.
Like, you know, I'm not trying to glorify the war stories, but when we left, right, Rikers Island and Spofford and all that was going through Goshen. That's where Willie Basket and all of us was at. The original Willie Basket that y'all hear about, that's still in there. He was in there with us in Goshen, up in Goshen. In his biography, he'll tell you that the night we escaped from Goshen, that was the escape night. We escaped in 1970, I think it's the end of 78, like the Christmas. Everybody escaped from Goshen. Willie Basket was there with us. Willie Basket is the one who changed the law from DFY to YOs. That's when they start sending YOs to Goshen. These dudes was having 3 to life and all that. At first, you couldn't even go to Goshen unless you had like 1 year there, 1 year in a group home, and 1 year to go to a group home. At this time, they had the Shadell and all of them from Fort Greene and all of them was there with us. Robo Just, all of us was up there. That was when the juveniles was juveniles. We was all, we changed the system, and it wasn't, and we made it fucked up for a lot of other young cats coming through, man. You know what I mean? Because when Willie Basket did that, he changed the law. Governor Carey changed the law.
You remember what year was that? What year?
When he changed the law, that was like 78, 79, between 78 and 79. They had to get us out of Goshen because when he changed the law, they start pushing dudes in that had life, 5 years, 6 years. We only had a year or 6 months. We couldn't do no more than that. You could have a body back then and only have a year, 6 months. You see what I'm saying? So when they start pushing them through, they told everybody in Goshen, DFY got to be out of there within. By June 1979, said everybody had to be out there, or 80, something like that. You can look it up, you'll find it. Willie Basket was the one that got the law changed. Anybody know about Willie Basket? Look up his documentary and all that. He was there with it. He was in Wing 5. I was in Wing 6. Shadell was in Wing 4. Azar, with me and Robo and us, Robo Just, the original Robo Just. He was in Wing 6 with us. Cecil from Bronx River was in there from the Gestapo. Cecil from Bronx River, he was there with us. He was in Wing 4. Right. It was that change of time.
You said something before in the first video. You said
we built Green. That facility Green that's next to it that everybody talk about now.
We started Green or something like that.
Yeah, no. We came to Caxsack, and this is the thing why I was saying about Caxsack, he was there with it. Because Green wasn't even open then.
Okay.
We built Green.
Built Green, right? That's what
we built Green. Green was, this was like in 85,
What do you mean built 85. Green? You mean y'all was the first ones in there?
No, like we used to have a farmer's crew. We had like different crews.
Okay.
And they got a crew to start building Green, helping build Green. Green is right next to Caxsack. That was before even Green was there. And dudes in Coxsackie.
Construction.
Yeah, start construction.
Oh, you meant literally build?
Yeah, dudes.
Oh, they had y'all building it?
Yeah.
Prisoners, yeah?
Yeah,
Okay,
hell
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they started to build. I don't know where I left. Like, I think the end of '85.
For what? Free labor? What was it?
No,
Free?
nah,
What
at
was
that time, I ain't going to even hold you.
10 cents,
Nah,
35 cents.
At that time, they was really paying you. I used to send money home to my people.
Wait, hold on. So wait, you saying you was a prisoner in Coxsackie?
Yeah.
And they had y'all building another prison?
Another prison.
Wow.
I'm telling you, Green.
Everyone,
I
want to say for the viewers, it's not we trying to glorify our prison at all.
No.
One of the worst places for you to be in. But you know, I would say it's the closest thing to slavery, right? I mean, like
closest.
Yeah, it is slavery, right?
But
it's a very.
So basically,
right.
don't do the crime, and you won't have to do no time to be building over
But it's just so happened that a lot of our strongest and even brilliant minds are incarcerated. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Strongest brothers, brilliant minds, but it's the worst place you ever want to be.
Yeah.
It really, really is.
Yo, and see, back then, it was, even though it was a lot of cutting, it was cutting, it was stabbing, always was that. But you had to have a hand game. If you didn't have a hand game, you had to have a hand game.
It wasn't that much razors.
It was a five.
Always gonna be shakes.
It was always shakes.
Always shakes.
But most of it was, we used to call it 5 minutes. Hit the wall. You know what I mean? That's when the 52 was out and all that, and all that was out. You had to have a hand game. You didn't have a hand game, you going down, son. For real, you had to have a hand game. Most of the dudes that was on Rikers Island, when I was on Rikers Island in '83, their hand game was official. I'm talking about, and that's when 4 Main was the House of Pain, the real 4 Main House of Pain. And I just don't want to mention a lot of dudes, but dudes that was there in '83 know.
I thought 12 Main was the House of Pain.
12 Main, that was over in the 6th building. 12 Main, 10 Main, 9 Main, that was the houses in the 6th building.
Okay.
But in the 4th building,
okay,
the official house in the 4th building was 4 Main, 4 Upper, 2 Main.
Okay.
On my side was 5 Low, we used to call it the dungeon. 3 Main.
Okay.
Because 1 Main was the Bing. So
Bang.
I don't want to mention a lot of dudes, because a lot of dudes don't know you had to have an official hand game. If your hand game was enough, yo, all that stabbing, I did all that. But yo, listen, you wasn't going nowhere. If you didn't have a hand game, I'm telling you, it was a lot of 5 minutes in them corners going on.
So this is what?
I even got caught up in a sneaker chat when I was on the island. I invited this dude to the sideline. I tried to give him, because we was on some Fair One shit. Back then,
this is 82, 83, 84.
No, this was 83.
83.
Yeah, and I invited him out. Listen, I stepped to him for his kicks. You know what I mean? I told him, listen, bro, we go in the corner. I turned around, he snuck me, bum. Yo, nigga split around. I'm doing the Dougie.
He ain't doing the Dougie.
Yo, nigga doing the Dougie. But that's how it go.
Yeah.
That was on me. But at the end, I don't want to even tell you what we did or what I did, because that just going to take it somewhere. But he got his just dessert for that. But I'm just saying, like, why he got just dessert, don't think it like I got him because he snuck me and he got away with it. He didn't get away with it. It was the point that we was on some real G shit. Like, if I offer you to the wall, ain't no snubbing. I'm offering you to the wall. I could have snuffed you first.
Yeah.
I could have just came behind you, hit you up and got him. But at that time, we was so much gentlemen of scholars. We had stepped to you because our hand games was up. So we be like, yo, check this out. We ain't gotta do this with nobody else. Just me and you. Step to the corner.
Do that 5, yo.
And that 5 will go up. And if you didn't know what you was doing, son, you gonna get your ass spanked. You gonna get spanked. And they still respected you, even though If they beat you, they respect you because you fought. It was about standing up. It was no sneak. So when he snuck me, that's what made it go up.
The code. Yeah, he violated the code.
Yeah, he violated. Nah, son, don't go down like that. So, I don't want to tell what's going on because that shit could go somewhere, right? But I took care of that, right? In the process, remember, it was a lot of jumping going on. A lot of jumping. Like, a lot of Spanish brothers, you know what I mean? They always ran in packs like they was wolves. Brooklyn ran in packs like they was wolves. I'll give it to the Bronx. That's straight up and down. Bronx never really had to run in practice. No Bronx.
Right.
Nubian brothers. We always stand up one deep. We'll come one deep and fight anybody. Didn't care what it was. I get about that, but Brooklyn too, they give you a shot. But Brooklyn ran in packs. Y'all know that. Y'all know Brooklyn. Y'all know how y'all got there. Y'all gonna run through straight up out of there. Y'all don't care about none of that. And the Spanish brothers was the same way. I even got caught up in a situation in what was it? We was in 4 Main in C95. My little man from Soundview came in there. Little Spanish brother. I don't want to name names because I don't know if they, you know what I mean? But he came up in there. I was up in there. I was holding it down one deep. He came up in there and something happened with the newspaper. You know what I mean? Like he wanted to read the newspaper. He took the newspaper, started reading. Cat pulled up on him. Dominican cat pulled up on him. So I'm like, yo, son, you got a problem with that? You and my little man do what he do. Little man scrapped on him. Soundview. Boo, boo, boo. Put it on him. They jumped him. In the process, I went to go. About 5, I ain't lying. This is everything to my world. 5 Spanish niggas put razors to my neck. I'm up on the wall like this. They like, yo, black man, nah, man. I was like, this how you feel? Put razors on me? Like, black man, we can't let you get in this, man. It's like, you know you our brother this now. It's like, nah, I can't be your brother. You putting razors in my neck, but what the fuck are you talking about? So, after they did their little bump and jump, homie came up out of that. Nothing was wrong with him. He from Soundview. If he around, he'll let you know. He's from Soundview. He came up out of that. Like, you bitch ass niggas, y'all had to jump this and that and that. Got my man all hemmed up this and that. So boom, the police pulled up in the joint. Somebody told. Ain't nobody was speaking on it. Somebody told, but they was worrying about us. They worried about me and little man get me checked because they knew how I got down. They got us up out of there. The police came packing shit. Sent us out of there. Later on in the mess hall, but that's when we used to go to mess hall. They shouldn't have never let me get to that mess hall. They shouldn't have never did that. It was crazy.
So all your years in Rikers Island, because
I'm just telling you that anybody could get it on the island.
Right.
That just it just worked that way.
It's just that
I ran the building. If you look me up on YouTube, King of New York, King of Rikers Island, pardon me, King of Rikers Island.
Dude said, okay, let me ask you, is it possible, because he said he was either known as the king of the island.
Now, ain't nobody, listen, let me explain something.
Is it possible that he could have been known amongst his circle?
Listen, he could be known.
His circle.
Nobody
okay.
that I ever heard on this planet by themselves run no Rikers Island. Rikers Island don't run like that.
Right.
It does not run like that.
Right.
You got too many G's up in there that's gonna try you, son. I don't care who you think you are. Somebody's gonna try, especially when we was coming up, we had too many, man. Brooklyn, Bronx, Harlem, Queens. Yeah, Matt, yeah.
Supposedly he said this was 1989, 1990?
89, 90.
New York City, 1990?
Yo, listen. This is word born, and the police will tell you. This is word, and I'm not glorifying. If we was doing all that, right, I'd have got the bell, man.
What you mean?
We was running around, yo, the way we was running around on that island, yo, for real, son, we wearing cables on the island, son. anybody tell you that was there with me and tell you I had the cable shit on or something. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to go. Just telling you.
What?
If I'm running around with a cable on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just can't run around on the island with no cable. Even though niggas try, yeah, niggas gonna try you. Yeah, that's how it go. You know what I mean? That's how it go. That's just the way it go. You know what I mean? I'm willing to put mine down on the line. That's how it go. Hey, even the police will tell you, that's from Monroe. He was there. He used to give me my visits. He used to give me 2-3 hour visits. That's my man. Yeah, police dude from Monroe Projects. He'll tell you. He don't want to let me bring the cable in. I'm just saying, like, no, I'm not trying to glorify the cable or nothing, but if you on that kind of status, right, that means you getting wires all through the prisons, man. You gonna know that it's a dude called Pistol Pete over in the 4 building running the whole Rikers Island.
Yeah.
You gotta know that.
Yeah.
Because you don't even know if you may get transferred over there.
This day we're gonna go out there, we're gonna put the Puerto Rican flag in the middle of the, and we're gonna stab everybody that's black.
You know what I mean?
Do you remember people having like Puerto Rican flags in Rikers Island or
well, that comes with the like okay.
Upstate? You see, you seen flags?
That comes. It ain't regular flag. What it is, they give you handkerchiefs. How you get a handkerchief? You might get a handkerchief from a nigga that come from up north. He might just come back from up north and he fighting another case. And he got hankies from up north. You know what I mean? Because when you go up north, they give you handkerchiefs, you know. Yeah, he might just gave you one. You write on it. You know what I mean? Some Spanish, Puerto Rican stuff or some black stuff. And you carry the flag with you in the yard. You could have did that. That's a fact. He could have did that. I ain't saying he.
So how big was this? How big was this handkerchief? Was it the size of a flag? With a
regular handkerchief,
like that. It wasn't like with a pole. Like you put it in the ground.
I was blowing his nose with it.
Okay, right.
Yeah, you know that. Regular handkerchief. And they use them for bandanas.
Yeah, they use them for bandanas. You know that. That's why they really stopped them because of the bloods. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, right? A lot of Spanish kids, I'm not trying to get into all that because I went through all that already. The wars and all that.
So you remember wars with Spanish dudes?
Yeah, we was up, the war that happened in '93 in Watertown. Yeah, and then that shit was a backlash to us in '94 when we was in Watertown. All of us, Tata, all of us was there, from Queens and all that. Tata sparked it off, me and Ty. Ty sparked it off and we hit the yard.
There's a few Tatas though, there's a few Tatas.
Nah, this is the original Tata. We was in a house called J2. We used to call it the jungle. Only dudes that could go up in that spot was dudes that were doing box time and all that. Yeah, it was crazy. Everybody that was in J2 was G, straight up. That was the G house. H2 too. H2 was too. H2, but everybody that had disciplinary situations, they went to J2. J1, I mean. My bad, J1.
And Kawasaki, was it? Because he said in Kawasaki,
and we're gonna stab everybody that's black.
He started stabbing anybody who was black or everyone
you know
black.
That,
was it a high population of Spanish dudes?
No. I'll tell you why it's so difficult to understand that and believe that. Not saying that can't happen. Don't think you can't just go in the yard and start stabbing people, but you're gonna get tossed, man. You're gonna get tossed. It's 2 yards. It's the big yard and the little yard. We call them.
I'm gonna stop by there.
What you call it? It's not. We didn't call it yards. We call it like.
Okay.
Like it's a name we had, and you could come through any doors to come in.
Okay.
The small yard was where a lot of people that was gonna keep locking that they could look in the small yard and see everyone. Because when I was on keep locking there, I used to look through the yard and see everybody in the small yard. The big yard, the big yard. So it's 2 yards. So I don't know what yard he said he went in. Now he could have went when a lot of dudes didn't go to. Maybe they had commissary. Maybe they had visits. See what I'm saying? Because remember, he talking about yard time. Yard time depends. Now, if he talking about night yard, that's different. You know what I mean? Everybody's out of damn near night yard. But if you go to regular yard, FaZe and them might be on visits. All the real G niggas might be up there on a visit. They might be in school. They might be, you know what I mean? They got these after program schools back then that, you know what I mean? They might have been in school. They might have been in extracurriculum. You had, you know, people teaching other guys, you know, they ain't so, cause they didn't have schooling, so they was tutors, like them, all them that was doing that Otisville thing.
Nothing's changed, it's just another sequel. Nothing's changed, it's just another sequel. Nothing's changed, it's just another sequel.
You know, I heard about shit, you know, but I ain't see him no more. You know.
All right, so as far as the Spanish, as far as the Terror Squad Pistol P, and I want to say this, right, because it's unfortunate that he had to say it the way he said it, or at least the way they highlighted it. And I hope the brothers are aware of what's going on, because it's like, I don't know too much about that channel he was on, something about Connect with Johnny. And it looked like a Caucasian. So it seemed like a situation where
nothing's changed, it's just another sequel. Nothing's changed, it's just another sequel.
Same as the old days where they propping one tribe against another tribe. They highlighting his words that he stabbed all the black people.
But look, Mike,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying, Mike, right. A lot of dudes they gonna tell they heyday shit.
Right.
You know the part that they played, that important part.
Right.
They ain't gonna say like I said, nigga snuffed me, nigga put razors there. That's how it go. You gotta give them the downs and the ups.
Yeah.
You gotta go through that to understand who you are and who you gonna be.
You saying it?
If you never went through something, how you gonna get through something? If you never went through nothing, how you gonna get through something? See, I know how to get through these things because I had to take them L's as much as I had to take
prior experience.
Yeah, and that's part of the game.
You saying the good and the bad.
Yeah, you
not
got
just
to.
bigging up all your good.
Yeah, I'm not bigging
all
up
your highlights.
I could throw a lot of highlights.
Right.
And dudes that know me will tell you.
Right.
I could throw it, but I'm not with that. I'm telling you on my lows where it took me to my highs. Right. And believe me, if you in jail like I was in jail, randomly, different shit, different bids, you gonna run through some shit. And every time that you come through the island, it's different people there.
Yeah.
Cause people move through the island like all up north, they move like cattle. Right. See what I'm saying? And I give it to a lot of the guards that transform to make, cause they was on our neck, man. Straight up, I ain't gonna even hold it.
What do you mean?
Like,
who's on?
Listen, the dudes that was putting in that work, right?
Okay.
When we come out the bing or we come out the box, ever that, this is on the island at the time, they'll take us, cause a lot of Puerto Rican COs was Latin kings and Yatas back then too. So we didn't know at the time. They'll bring us to our house late at night, right. 3 in the morning, and put us on the A and B gate. And then we'll start seeing motherfuckers get up coming to the gate looking. And we like, yo, you know these niggas ain't lining us up. We be like, yo, son, what's wrong with you? Think we going in there? You crazy? You got the whole joint in Spanish. Not saying nothing, that's how it just was at the time. We fought them for real, son. Listen, let me tell you something. I was neutral. I was one of the worst neutrals you could find, man. And if niggas knew me, they'll tell you, man. I was neutral. I wasn't even guard, but I knew all the guards. I knew wherever they was. I knew them. And I was neutral. And we had to fight them dudes, man. I didn't come through there claiming no other joint or nothing. Claiming the spades, none of that. I can't do that. Dudes didn't even know I was a spade until later in life. Dudes never even knew I was a spade. I never even threw that up. Spades wasn't there to throw up like that. Spades was an organization to help our brothers and sisters.
We were so intelligent and so smart. The police couldn't catch us people.
What do you mean?
We grew up like, if the police caught you, we can't use you no more, because that means you're stupid. It's a whole wide world out here, and the police just can catch up with you. That means you're not doing something right and you're dumb. So that means you can step off from us. We don't want you like that. We wasn't involved with the police like that. They used to chase us around, but they didn't know us like that.
But one thing about
we wasn't all locked up in Rikers Island and running the jail system back then. Absolutely not.
to raise. So I'm not throwing that shit up in no jails and all that. See what I'm saying? But I'm telling you, it was, yo, listen, they had their feet on our neck, son. And it was a very, listen, they can talk to you and tell you what they want to tell you. I was there, son. It was a very few that stood against them, man. And that's
well, against who? What do you?
Against our oppression. We was oppressed, son. Okay. Yeah. These dudes ain't telling you the truth. Yo, we was oppressed.
You saying about Latinos?
Now, I don't know what happened before we got to the island. Right? I'm not going to say the Puerto Ricans or the whatever, right, wasn't oppressed first. But they might have been oppressed first. From what I'm hearing, we was oppressing them. I don't know. I wasn't there when they was doing all that. When I came, because when I came, it wasn't no gangs on the island.
Okay.
When I got on the island, that's why it was about your fisticuff. It wasn't no gang. When I came on the island, there always was Latin kings, but they wasn't like crazy with it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There always was Latin kings, but they wasn't. But they just stuck together so much, and they had us under. They had their heels on our necks, son. And there was only a very few that people can name to this day, if they really name them, that'll tell you that wasn't having none of that.
And what about the pink gang? They had a pink gang, the motorcycle motherfuckers.
Nah, that was way before. That was when my brother and them was there, when they had the Chinese dudes there and all that. When the Chinese dudes went against the police and all that. Black and them was there, that was like in 76, 77, 74, some shit, I guess. I don't know. But Black told me a lot about that.
Winston.
That's when Black and all them was up in there.
Was up in where? Which one?
Up on the island. That's when Crazy Eddie, Black. Oh man, Tab, La, Silk, Curly, Dog.
Yo, dude said Bronx was running the penitentiary.
Bronx was strong. Listen, yo, we used to go up to Nap. Listen, man. Listen, I was in Goshen. That's when I was in Goshen. We used to come up, when I started getting my visits, we used to come up to Nap. Yo, son, listen, every nigga from the Bronx was up in that place, man.
Bronx
I'm
was strong
high
in those
power,
days,
not that funny,
strong,
corny shit. No, these dudes was these dudes, man. You know what I mean?
Now, let me ask you something, right? Because there's different sides of the Bronx, right? Yeah. So you used to live over by Cypress when you was a young child, right?
No, I was on Cypress when I was 6, so I got here around 7.
And I heard the Terror Squad Pistol Pete say he was from 141st in Cypress. Now that's the South Bronx, right?
Where?
141st in Cypress. That's right there. I know exactly what he's talking about.
Me, I'm from Cypress, 141st Street.
Right, Cypress, and I want to say for the record, for the viewers that's like living outside the city, because Fat Joe is also, they say South Bronx, they say Forest Houses, 163rd, they say that's the South Bronx. I think personally it's more like South Central Bronx, like 163rd, that's a little past Yankee Stadium. I mean, like 161st,
South would be 30th, 38th.
Right. So just for the viewers to understand, where Pistol Pete is talking about is like a mile and a half, 2 miles, maybe a mile and a half away from where Fat Joe grew up. Right. They grew up in two different areas of the South Bronx. That's my point, right? He's about, 141st and Fat Joe's 163rd. Right. So that's, people could use their mind, that's like 20 blocks. 20 blocks away from each other. Yeah. That's over a mile away. Yeah. But so, growing up over there, because I think he said he was part of the Young Cypress Boys or something like that.
Well, they came later. When I grew up on Cypress, let me explain something to you, man. I grew up on Cypress like 69, 70, 68. I was a real little. Yo, listen, Young Lords.
He may have not been born yet.
Nah, that's what gangs, it was gangs.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. You're a little older than him, probably a lot older than him. Probably 5 or 6 years.
Like when I was over there, Rabbit, Zach, all these dudes, I'm just naming 2 dudes, Gary, Barry and Gary, KT and all of them. They was, my brother and them was hard over there. My brother, that was his crew. KT, Barry, Gary, Rabbit, Zach and all.
Do you remember that
big
name,
men.
Cypress Boys? You remember that?
That came later.
Oh, late. Okay.
See, when the
That
Cypress
came
Boys
later.
developed, gangs is gone.
Okay.
It was no Cypress Boys when them gangs was out there. It was only bachelors, young lords.
Gotcha.
You talk about like in the crack era.
Yeah, like they came.
Out.
When I left Cypress like in 70. Something like that. I left Cypress Avenue.
Right. I don't think he probably was a baby at that time.
I ain't gonna even hold you.
He probably a lot
I'm
older.
gonna be honest with you, man. I was a little punk on Cypress.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
What do you mean?
I was a little punk
Your
on
fight,
Cypress.
what do you mean? Your fighting
Like,
skills
no,
wasn't...
me and my brother, we wasn't, nah.
Yeah?
My brother, yo, listen, let me tell you something. My brother...
Changed when he came to Bronxdale.
Listen, no, I'm saying, no, this is when it changed. When my brother got chased out of 157.
What's that?
That's when
school?
he got with KT.
What's
and all
157? A school?
It was a school. He was going to a junior high school, I think a junior high school, and they chased him out of the school. My brother and me wasn't really about that life.
Okay.
We got like that when my brother ran into the Timmons brothers. Yeah, y'all don't know nothing about that. Yeah, my brother used to fuck with them boys, man. Yeah, Bolden brothers. Don't let me go there with my brother, man. Don't let me go there and tell y'all where we came really, when we started putting, our names down. My brother took his name from a nigga in the street. He took it. So because our names was Wolfman first. Yeah, I was Little Wolfman, he was Big Wolfman. That was our first names. Yeah. So I don't even want to go there and tell y'all where all this shit, because it was really, my brother got real ugly. Real ugly. Real early in the game. I'm talking about real early. They had to kill him, man. They made my brother a martyr. They had to. They couldn't do nothing with that boy. Nobody. Yeah, I'm telling y'all. Y'all know I know. And y'all know what y'all did to me after the fact. So don't let that, I'm not going to go there. But my brother, I would never, listen, man. My brother, when Wayne Perry was out there, my brother was up in Southeast. Yeah, in Washington. Having shootouts with all them niggas up there. Yeah, I'm telling you, son. My brother was nothing to fuck with, son. Nothing. That boy was one of the humblest dudes I ever knew. But that boy would tear you up, man. That boy would, and a lot of dudes, right? A lot of dudes knew he had to go.
Let me ask you, would you say, was it the martial arts that made him like
between
ferocious like that?
The way he came up,
everything, yo.
Listen,
martial arts.
Listen, anybody know him, tell you he's one of the greatest guys you can meet.
Yo, the fist game was crazy,
It
yo.
was crazy.
He used to have us on the back of the building, putting our legs
all the way up
against
on the
one
fucking thing,
building.
like this.
Like
He's
this.
the one that opened the door for the little rascal.
That's right.
That's a fact.
That's right.
My brother opened the door.
We had to punch the elevator door. Remember that? Remember we had to punch the elevator.
And this is real talk, and I lie to you not. My brother remember nothing but gangsters. I ain't never seen my brother with a clown. My brother ran with the hardest niggas in the Bronx, New York City. Yeah, and if you know him, y'all know. My brother ran with him hard. He stepped, and you talking about a stepper? Listen, man, I'm not trying to glorify him or nothing. That boy, I'm telling you, man, and it's just that way. But listen, one thing he told me in life, Black, don't never cry for me or yourself, man. He said, because, yo, you know what? The way we live, the way we got to go, and that's how it goes, bro.
I gotta interject.
That's how it goes, man.
If he was down, if you was down with him, down.
I don't care who you were. If you was his man, he could be in Kentucky. Nigga talk about you, he gonna tear their ass up. That's how he was. He taught me that shit. He believed more in his people than he believed in himself, and that's a fact.
That's word.
That's a fact. But anyway, back to Pistol Pete.
Yeah, hold on.
Right?
Gotta get at you.
Even when we used to slide over, phasing off, run over there, jump on the bus, go to the sound. There was another Pistol Pete.
Right, that's what I wanted to ask you
There
about.
was before.
I want to see a
even
picture. I want to see a
I
picture.
think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was Pistol Pete's father.
It could have been his father?
I met him when I was a kid.
Yeah, Pistol Pete father.
My brother introduced me to him.
People were saying, well, who's the original Pistol Pete?
No, it's another Pistol Pete before these two.
Before Sex Money.
Yeah,
right.
they was on
So,
time.
right, listen, right, I saw...
If I'm not mistaken, now listen, I'm not saying it's not his father, right?
Okay.
But there was a Puerto Rican Pistol Pete before all about anybody.
Yeah, Puerto Rican.
On Cozy.
Yeah.
Not Rat.
Rolat?
Not Rolat.
Okay.
Rolat came later. He came after us. Yeah, Rolat came after us.
But he looked
not his father.
Okay. You're right.
His son.
His son, right.
Rolat came after us, right?
Right.
The other Pistol Pete, I don't know where he came from. But but there was a Pistol Pete, listen to me very carefully, on Cozy with us, way back in the day.
Cozy.
That's where I think everybody got that Pistol Pete shit from.
Well, wait, look. There was
to fly the kites.
You can't say that. We can't say that, right? You know why?
Just saying.
No. Listen what I'm saying. The original
the old
Pistol.
one that used to fly the kites, yo.
Spanish.
Listen. Pistol Pete was a basketball player, right? That's where I think the name may have originated.
Oh, that Pistol Pete. Yeah,
It was a basketball player in the NBA, right. That's what I'm saying. So we talking about the street though.
A different thing.
We talking about the street, right?
When we used to be on Cozy, I was a kid.
But explain what Cozy is for the people who don't know
Corner
what Cozy is.
Was a drug block, $1 million drug block.
Where?
$1 million
was
back in those days.
Right there by
right across the street from Soundview.
Across the street from Soundview by the
It used to be a bar.
Academy Gardens.
bar
It used to be a bar.
That's where a lot of pimps and shit was coming out, right back then.
So the
Cozy transformed into something.
So the Pistol Pete you remember was from Soundview Houses, Cozy Corner.
Pistol Pete I met.
Cozy Corner.
And this is where it's going. Now, I could have met his father, because Black knew a lot of people. You might have said, yo, Black, that's such and such. You know, in the process of us just doing what we was doing on the block.
Okay.
Right? But I remember, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but to my knowledge, my perspective, I remember there was a Pistol Pete way before everybody was Pistol Pete.
That was the 70s.
This was the Pistol Pete that set off that name on Cozy Corner. That name got set off from him on Cozy.
You said he was Hispanic?
I think he was Hispanic.
Or mixed, maybe mixed?
No, I remember him being Spanish.
You remember him being Spanish,
I'm telling you something. I remember being in front of the bar and Black said, nah, you can't come in, but stay with Pistol Pete. And I was like, who that? He's the Spanish kid right there.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm telling you something, man. I'm telling you something. Now,
but it was the Terror Squad Pistol Pete.
No, hell no.
I think he's younger than you.
He's younger than me.
Right.
Nah, it wasn't him. Listen, let me tell you something. I think he was older than my brother. Not older, like not way older, but I think like 2-3 years older than Black. I'm telling you something, man. This is when we first started going on Cozy. Way back after the Spades left and they started with Cruz.
Right.
We went to Cozy. Black transferred all of us over there to Cozy. That's when Cozy became Cozy. That's when Cozy became, even though Cozy was Cozy, but it wasn't the up-to-date Cozy.
The square backs.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's right. Yo, I'm telling you something.
Yo, when year Cozy closed? When year is that bar closed?
The square packs.
Do y'all remember when that bar closed?
Half a quarter. That's what happened. That's when Quinine and Benita you had to put in there.
Right.
It wasn't no the defunct that, whatever that shit is. It wasn't no sniffing, like little sniff coke. Nah, you had to shoot it back then. Or if you sniffed it, your nose be fucked up for years. That shit be all crazy. Because you sniffing that Benita and Quinine, man. You know what I mean? And a lot of people used to come over to Cozy. Talking about Small Paul. A lot of Fat Ross. Yeah, Lay and all them. Nicky Barnes. Shameka. Yeah, I fucked with Shameka. I know Shameka and Nicky Barnes.
What do you mean?
Shameka is Nicky
Yeah, but
Barnes.
what you mean
I fucked with her on some coke shit.
Oh, okay.
He was hitting her.
Okay.
We used to get it off 35th. We used to come down there and it's called the Monarchs. It was bottles this fucking big. That's how I think AZ got on. He started getting, remember he said he got bottles, it used to be bottles, we used to bring them uptown.
You talking about the Harlem AZ? What AZ?
Yeah, the Harlem AZ.
Rich Porter AZ.
He might have got it like when we left, because she was still out there when we left. So I met her on her. I used to fuck with her girlfriend. Okay. That's a fact. I almost got us in mad beef. Yo, this is word ball. You ask Diamond D and them. Mad beef because I used to try to flirt with Shameka all the time when we went down there. They was like, yo, Black, that's Nicky's girl, come on, man. I said, who the fuck is Nicky? I didn't know at the time about Nicky Barnes like that. Yeah. Really, I probably didn't give a fuck. But, I'm not trying to say I was big like Nicky Barnes, but I probably didn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? And when we used to pull up to get the big 50s from the Monarchs down there, she used to have them. And she'd come outside, she'd be like, we're Black. I'd be in the OJ or something. I'd be sitting in the 9-8 or something. I come out, yo, I told you stop playing with me, Shameka, we'll come over here and get you. And we used to just fuck around like that.
Don't forget about Arthur's Round Table.
Arthur, man, oh man, listen, that was Bronx Slipper. A lot of people don't know.
What year did Cozy Corner close, though? Anybody remember that?
The bar was
when Cozy started getting cozy, Pistol Pete left. The original one that I'm talking about, he left.
I would say like
when we started really bubbling over there,
like 80.
Like I didn't see him no more. I think he went to jail or maybe he got strung out. I don't know.
Early
But back
80s,
then,
the bar was still there. Early 80s, 1980, 81. You was in prison.
I'm gonna say for what
I
I know.
When was the bar? When did it close down?
I would think like 86.
It had to be around when I was
86?
gone.
Yeah.
Because
like
the bar.
86,
Listen. I came home, right?
86.
Yeah, because remember they started doing.
No. Before that.
No.
Before that.
Cozy Bar was really never closed down.
Right.
It was just not occupied like it was before. It was outside now. Everybody on the block now. It wasn't inside. See, before when you first come on Cozy, it was about the bar. Right. That's where it all started with the bar. That's why it got the name Cozy Corner. But that was the bar name. Right. But when niggas started getting really that paper, when that paper started,
that's when crack came in.
Yeah, when that paper really, it wasn't even about the bar. People wouldn't even go in there. They'd probably just go in there and get a drink real quick and come back out. Because it was the block now. It was about it. I never seen no police run up in the bar. Never on Cozy. I seen them run up on niggas on the block.
And in the game room.
In the game room and all that. On the store. Stores and all that was there. I never seen them run in the bar and bring somebody out the bar like this. That's why I said the bar, it got minimized through the streets. You see what I'm saying? Because niggas start being in the streets.
There was two well-known pimps that used to go in the bar.
Oh, yeah.
Two well-known pimps.
But Mr. B, I think he left the one I'm talking about. Then when I went to jail, I never heard of the other people. Management, not that he was there, but I never heard of him.
You want the Terror Squad?
Yeah, I
never heard of him. Right.
When I was up north, I started hearing about Lil Pistol Pete. And I said, who you talking about? Pistol Pete, the Spanish one? And they said, not the Terror Squad. When I thought they were talking about him.
Cozy.
I said, nah, Black, that's Little Pistol Pete. Remember Little Pete? I said, Little Pete? He said, yeah, he used to come through the block. Little Pete, him and them little wild niggas. I said, damn, I think I remember. He said, Black, we used to run him off the block.
Yeah.
I said, yeah? I said, I can't remember, because it's been a long time before I went back out there.
Yeah.
Then I was like, Pistol Pete? He said, yeah, Lil Pete. I think he fucked with Donnie. God bless him, Donnie got killed. I think that he was something associated with Donnie.
Smoking.
But they said it was Pistol. They said I knew him, but I couldn't picture him because they said, yo, you used to give him dollars, tell him get out of here. I said, what? He said, not get out of here, but don't come on the block. You know what I mean? Because we ain't want no young niggas on the block. And then I heard about him and heard about him and heard about him. And when I came home, you know what I mean, he was home. But I wasn't going that way. You know what I mean? Cozy to me was old. I wasn't doing Cozy no more. I was on some old OJ one day, one alone shit. You know what I mean? Because I learned about co-defendants.